50 most popular data science interview questions and answers. Careful. These questions can make you think twice. 1. What is data science? Data science is a blend of statistics, technical skills and business vision which is used to analyze the available data and predict the future trend. Also, data science is a blend of various tools, algorithms, and machine learning principles with the goal to discover hidden patterns from the raw data. 2. Explain the various benefits of R language. The R programming language includes a set of software suite that is used for graphical representation, statistical computing, data manipulation and calculation. Some of the highlights of R programming environment include the following: an extensive collection of tools for data analysis, operators for performing calculations on matrix and array, data analysis technique for graphical representation, a highly developed yet simple and effective programming language. It extensively supports machine learning applications. It acts as a connecting link between various software, tools and datasets. Create high-quality reproducible analysis that is flexible and powerful. Provides a robust package ecosystem for diverse needs. It is useful when you have to solve a data-oriented problem. 3. What are feature vectors? A feature vector is an n-dimensional vector of numerical features that represent some object. In machine learning, feature vectors are used to represent numeric or symbolic characteristics, called features, of an object in a mathematical, easily analyzable way. 4. You are given a data set. The data set contains many variables, some of which are highly correlated and you know about it. Your manager has asked you to run PCA. Would you remove correlated variables first? Why? Chances are, you might be tempted to say no, but that would be incorrect. Discarding correlated variables have a substantial effect on PCA because, in presence of correlated variables, the variance explained by a particular component gets inflated. For example, you have 3 variables in a data set, of which 2 are correlated. If you run PCA on this data set, the first principal component would exhibit twice the variance than it would exhibit with uncorrelated variables. Also, adding correlated variables lets PCA put more importance on those variable, which is misleading. 5. What is linear regression? It is the most commonly used method for predictive analytics. The linear regression method is used to describe relationship between a dependent variable and one or independent variable. The main task in the linear regression is the method of fitting a single line within a scatter plot. The linear regression consists of the following 3 methods: determining and analyzing the correlation and direction of the data, deploying the estimation of the model, ensuring the usefulness and validity of the model. It is extensively used in scenarios where the cause-effect model comes into play. For example, you want to know the effect of a certain action in order to determine the various outcomes and extent of effect the cause has in determining the final outcome. 6. Why is naive Bayes so naive? Naive Bayes is so naive because it assumes that all of the features in a data set are equally important and independent. As we know, these assumptions are rarely true in real-world scenario. 7. What is power analysis? An experimental design technique for determining the effect of a given sample size. 8. What is the goal of A/B testing? It is a statistical hypothesis testing for a randomized experiment with 2 variables A and B. The goal of A/B testing is to identify any changes to the web page to maximize or increase the outcome of an interest. A/B testing is a fantastic method for figuring out the best online promotional and marketing strategies for your business. It can be used to test everything from website copy to sales emails to search ads. An example of this could be identifying the click-through rate for a banner ad. 9. What is collaborative filtering? The process of filtering used by most recommender systems to find patterns and information by collaborating perspectives, numerous data sources, and several agents. 10. What is the law of large numbers? It is a theorem that describes the result of performing the same experiment a large number of times. This theorem forms the basis of frequency-style thinking. It says that the sample mean, the sample variance and the sample standard deviation converge to what they are trying to estimate. 11. How regularly must an algorithm be updated? It will be updated an algorithm when you want the model to evolve as data streams through infrastructure. The underlying data source is changing. There is a case of non-stationarity. 12. Using underscore on categorical data will produce similar output to a series or data frame of type string. A. Disk. B. Describe. C. Rank. D. None oft mentioned. Answer B. Explanation: categorical data has a categories and a ordered property. 13. Python or R, which one would you prefer for text analytics? We will prefer Python because of the following reasons. Python would be the best option because it has Pandas library that provides easy to use data structures and high performance data analysis tools. R is more suitable for machine learning than just text analysis. Python performs faster for all types of text analytics. 14. What are eigenvalue and eigenvector? Answer: eigenvectors are for understanding linear transformations. In data analysis, we usually calculate the eigenvectors for a correlation or covariance matrix. Eigenvalues are the directions along which a particular linear transformation acts by flipping, compressing or stretching. 15. How is true positive rate and recall related? Write the equation. Answer: true positive rate equals recall. Yes, they are equal, having the formula TP/TP plus Fn. 16. What is linear regression? Linear regression is a statistical technique where the score of a variable y is predicted from the score of a second variable x. X is referred to as the predictor variable and y as the criterion variable. 17. Why is resampling done? Resampling is done in any of these cases. Estimating the accuracy of sample statistics by using subsets of accessible data or drawing randomly with replacement from a set of data points. Substituting labels on data points when performing significance tests. Validating models by using random subsets, bootstrapping, cross-validation. 18. What is interpolation and extrapolation? Estimating a value from two known values from a list of values is interpolation. Extrapolation is approximating a value by extending a known set of values or facts. 19. What is collaborative filtering? The process of filtering used by most of the recommender systems to find patterns or information by collaborating viewpoints, various data sources and multiple agents. 20. While working on a data set, how do you select important variables? Explain your methods. Following are the methods of variable selection you can use. 1. Remove the correlated variables prior to selecting important variables. 2. Use linear regression and select variables based on p-values. 3. Use forward selection, backward selection, stepwise selection. 4. Use random forest, boost and plot variable importance chart. 5. Use lasso regression. 6. Measure information gain for the available set of features and select top-end features accordingly. 21. Do gradient descent methods always converge to same point? No, they do not, because in some cases it reaches a local minima or a local optima point. You don't reach the global optima point. It depends on the data and starting conditions. 22. What is linear regression? Linear regression is a statistical technique where the score of a variable y is predicted from the score of a second variable x. X is referred to as the predictor variable and y as the criterion variable. 23. Explain survivorship bias. It is the logical error of focusing aspects that support surviving some process and casually overlooking those that did not because of their lack of prominence. This can lead to wrong conclusions in numerous different means. 24. How can you assess a good logistic model? There are various methods to assess the results of a logistic regression analysis. Using classification matrix to look at the true negatives and false positives. Concordance that helps identify the ability of the logistic model to differentiate between the event happening and not happening. Lift helps assess the logistic model by comparing it with random selection. 25. Explain machine learning to me like a 5-year-old. Answer: it's simple. It's just like how babies learn to walk. Every time they fall down, they learn, unconsciously, and realize that their legs should be straight and not in a bend position. The next time they fall down, they feel pain. They cry. But, they learn not to stand like that again. In order to avoid that pain, they try harder. To succeed, they even seek support from the door or wall or anything near them, which helps them stand firm. This is how a machine works and develops intuition from its environment. Note, the interview is only trying to test if you have the ability of explain complex concepts in simple terms. 26. Can you use machine learning for time series analysis? Yes, it can be used, but it depends on the applications. 27. What is cluster sampling? Cluster sampling is a technique used when it becomes difficult to study the target population spread across a wide area and simple random sampling cannot be applied. Cluster sample is a probability sample where each sampling unit is a collection or cluster of elements. For e.g., a researcher wants to survey the academic performance of high school students in Japan. He can divide the entire population of Japan into different clusters, cities. Then the researcher selects a number of clusters depending on his research through simple or systematic random sampling. 28. Did you suggest that treating a categorical variable as continuous variable would result in a better predictive model? Answer: for better predictions, categorical variable can be considered as a continuous variable only when the variable is ordinal in nature. 29. Can you explain the difference between a test set and a validation set? Validation set can be considered as a part of the training set as it is used for parameter selection and to avoid overfitting of the model being built. On the other hand, test set is used for testing or evaluating the performance of a trained machine learning model. In simple terms, the differences can be summarized as: training set is to fit the parameters, that is weights. Test set is to assess the performance of the model, that is evaluating the predictive power and generalization. Validation set is to tune the parameters. 30. When does regularization becomes necessary in machine learning? Regularization becomes necessary when the model begins to overfit, underfit. This technique introduces a cost term for bringing in more features with the objective function. Hence, it tries to push the coefficients for many variables to zero and hence reduce cost term. This helps to reduce model complexity so that the model can become better at predicting, generalizing. 31. How do you clean up and organize big data sets? Data scientists frequently have to combine large amounts of information from various devices in several formats, such as data from a smartwatch or cell phone. Answers to this question will demonstrate how your candidate's methods for organizing large data. This information is important to know because data scientists need clean data to analyze information accurately to offer recommendations that solve business problems. Possible answers may include automation tools, Value correction methods. Comprehension of data sets. My data cleanup techniques involve determining if the data that I am collecting makes sense and correcting any values that are not logical after I have adequate information. I also use tools to help automate the cleanup process, such as Pixata. 32. How do data scientists code in R? R is a popular open-source programming environment for statistics and data mining. The good news is that it is easily integrated into ML Studio. I have a lot of friends using functional languages for machine learning, such as fhash. It's pretty clear, however, that R is dominant in this space. Polls and surveys of data miners are showing R's popularity has increased substantially in recent years. R was created by Ross Ayaka and Robert Gentleman at the University of Auckland, New Zealand, and is currently developed by the R Development Core team, of which Chambers is a member. R is named partly after the first names of the first two R authors. R is a GNU project and is written primarily in C, Fortran. 33. What are eigenvalues and eigenvectors? The eigenvectors of a matrix set is non-singular, determinant not equals 0, are the values associated with linear transformations of that matrix. They are calculated using the correlation or covariance matrix functions. The eigenvalues are the values associated with the strength or the degree of a linear transformation, such as bending or rotating. See Linear Algebra by Gilbert Strang, online ebook, for more details on their computation. 34. What is the probability of an impossible event, a past event, and what is the range of a probability value? An impossible event has PE equals 0. Probabilities take on values only in the closed interval, 0, 1. The probability of event that is from the past is an event that has already occurred, and here PE equals 1. 35. Which is faster, Python or R? Python is considered to be moderately medium-paced since C++ is much faster for all purposes. Besides which, Python is an interpreted and not a compiled language. Python language is implemented in C to speed up execution time. R, however, was designed by statisticians, not computer scientists, and is much slower than Python. 36. Which of the following line represents the mean of the given data points, where the scale is divided into same units? A, B, C, D. Solution, C. It's a little tricky to visualize this one by just looking at the data points. We can simply substitute values to understand the mean. Let A be 1, B be 2, C be 3, and so on. The data values as shown will become 1, 1, 1, 4, 5, 6, which will have mean to be 18, 6 equals 3, that is C. 37. What do you understand by statistical power of sensitivity and how do you calculate it? Sensitivity is commonly used to validate the accuracy of a classifier, logistic, SVM, RF, etc. Sensitivity is nothing but predicted true events/total events. True events here are the events which were true and model also predicted them as true. Calculation of sensitivity is pretty straightforward. 38. Standard deviation is robust to outliers. A, true. B, false. Solution, B. If you look at the formula for standard deviation above, a very high or a very low value would increase standard deviation as it would be very different from the mean. Hence outliers will affect standard deviation. 39. What are eigenvectors and eigenvalues? Eigenvectors are used for understanding linear transformations. In data analysis, we usually calculate the eigenvectors for a correlation or covariance matrix. Eigenvectors are the directions along which a particular linear transformation acts by flipping, compressing or stretching. Eigenvalue can be referred to as the strength of the transformation in the direction of eigenvector or the factor by which the compression occurs. 40. Explain cross-validation. Cross-validation is a model validation technique for evaluating how the outcomes of statistical analysis will generalize to an independent dataset. Mainly used in backgrounds where the objective is forecast and one wants to estimate how accurately a model will accomplish in practice. The goal of cross-validation is to term a dataset to test the model in the training phase, that is validation dataset, in order to limit problems like overfitting and get an insight on how the model will generalize to an independent dataset. 41. What are the basic assumptions to be made for linear regression? Normality of error distribution, statistical independence of errors, linearity and additivity. 42. Can you write the formula to calculate R-square? R-square can be calculated using the below formula dash. 1. Residual sum of squares / total sum of squares. 43. What is the advantage of performing dimensionality reduction before fitting an SVM? Support vector machine learning algorithm performs better in the reduced space. It is beneficial to perform dimensionality reduction before fitting an SVM if the number of features is large when compared to the number of observations. 44. What would be the critical values of Z for 98% confidence interval for a two-tailed test? A, +/2.33. B, +/1.96. C, +/1.64. D, +/2.55. Solution, A. We need to look at the Z table for answering this. For a two-tailed test, and a 98% confidence interval, we should check the area before the z-value as 0.99 since 1% will be on the left side of the mean and 1% on the right side. Hence we should check for the z-value for area 0.99. The value will be +/2.33. 45. True or false? The standard normal curve is symmetric about 0 and the total area under it is 1. A true. B, false. Solution, A. By the definition of the normal curve, the area under it is 1 and is symmetric about 0. The mean, median and mode are all equal and 0. The area to the left of mean is equal to the area on the right of mean. Hence it is symmetric. 46. What is the advantage of performing dimensionality reduction before fitting an SVM? Support vector machine learning algorithm performs better in the reduced space. It is beneficial to perform dimensionality reduction before fitting an SVM if the number of features is large when compared to the number of observations. 47. How will you assess the statistical significance of an insight, whether it is a real insight or just by chance? Statistical importance of an insight can be accessed using hypothesis testing. 48. How will you find the correlation between a categorical variable and a continuous variable? You can use the analysis of covariance technique to find the correlation between a categorical variable and a continuous variable. 49. What would be the type I error? A. Concluding that listening to music while studying improves memory, and it's right. B. Concluding that listening to music while studying improves memory when it actually doesn't. C. Concluding that listening to music while studying does not improve memory but it does. Solution, B. Type 1 error means that we reject the null hypothesis when it's actually true. Here the null hypothesis is that music does not improve memory. Type 1 error would be that we reject it and say that music does improve memory when it actually doesn't. 50. Secrets to becoming a great enterprise data scientist. Keep on adding technical skills to your data scientist toolbox. Improve your scientific axiom. Learn the language of business as the insights from a data scientist help in reshaping the entire organization. The important tip to nail a data science interview is to be confident with the answers without bluffing. If you are well versed with a particular technology, whether it is Python, R, Hadoop, or any other big data technology, ensure that you can back this up. But if you are not strong in a particular area, do not mention unless asked about it. The above list of data scientist job interview questions is not an exhaustive one. Every company has a different approach for interviewing data scientists. However, we do hope that the above data science technical interview questions elucidate the data science interview process and provide an understanding on the type of data scientist job interview questions asked when companies are hiring data people.